have the brush selected, and I've got both the brushes as well as the brush settings panels showing. If they're not showing, just go into the window menu and then select them. Now in the brushes panel, there are a number of different preset brushes that you can choose from. I'm going to move to the dry media brushes, and we're just going to start painting with a few of these different brushes. I'll make this one a little bit larger, and then hold down the shift key in order to paint my paint stroke. So you can see when I select these different presets, I'm getting very different paint strokes. I'll do one more here, and then paint. And if you'll notice in the brush settings, as you select these different brushes, you can actually see what settings were applied per brush. Now I'm going to move to this next brush, but you'll notice that the icon in the upper right of the brush preview isn't the paintbrush anymore. It's actually an eraser. Well, right now I'm on a single layer document. It's a background layer that's white, and my background color is white. So if I paint right now, nothing's going to happen because it's erasing white on white. But if I paint over one of these other brush strokes, it'll go ahead and erase it. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what tool is selected, because the brushes here that are saved aren't only for the brushes tool. They're also for the eraser and the mixer brush, and even some of the smudge tools. In fact, let's go ahead and just build up a lot of paint right over here before we move to the wet media brushes. Now these brush presets enable you to blend colors together. I'm going to choose the wet blender, and now as I paint, we can see that it's getting a mix of the white paint as well as the blue paint. And it's actually using the smudge tool, and it's selected that tool automatically to create that brush. If I move over to the oils and start painting, you can see how it's mixing the foreground color, which is blue, with the background or the base color. It's mixing them because we've actually switched to the mixer brush tool. All right, then I'll move to the Impressionist Blender. Again, this is another blending tool. So as we move it over the blue and white areas, it's going to start mixing those paints together, again, using the smudge tool. All right, let's close those up. There's also some special effects brushes that are worth checking out. There's some cool scatter brushes. I'm going to go ahead and decrease the size of this, and then just paint down here. You can see it's just adding a bit of scatter or texture to the image. There's another one here that if you just click once, it'll lay down some leaves, or you can go ahead and paint with that. It's kind of a nice scatter brush effect. And below that, there are some screen tones that you can paint with. So everywhere I paint, I will get that pattern. So I would definitely encourage you to play around with not only these brushes, but also use the flyout menu and then choose to get more brushes. That'll take you online where you can download a ton of brushes that you can experiment with.